How we doing, everybody? It's Mike here. It's a Friday, and getting on close. Sorry about that. Didn't need to rock the camera like that. Getting on close to time for me to head into the shop, but want to just fire a quick little blog at you on a Friday because that's what we do. Panthers going off to Chicago this weekend. Finding out today from head coach Ron Rivera, Antoine Applewhite will not play. Thomas Kaiser likely will not play with the elbow injury. So defensively, the Panthers are a little bit shorthanded in that regard. Going to be tough for Carolina in Chicago this week when you factor in that Chicago has got Matt Forte back there. Michael Bush can also run the football, and Jay Cutler is starting to find a little bit of a rhythm with Brandon Marshall. So obviously, the Bears are very tough offensively, and defensively, the Bears are being the Bears. This is kind of reminiscent of the team that I grew up watching growing up in Chicago. Just vicious defense, always getting after the quarterback, and that's basically the hallmark of what Chicago Bear teams are. So tough Sunday for Carolina to go in a little bit shorthanded. No word yet on David Geddes, according to Coach Rivera. They've got another week before they decide to either put him on the 53-man roster or place him on injured reserve for the remainder of the season. And of course, the Panthers without Chris Gamble and John Beeson for the remainder of the year. Both those players put on injured reserve. So it's not going to be an easy Sunday, but you just never know in this game. I mean, if the Bears start overlooking the Panthers, Carolina could sneak up on them. Ron Rivera making an announcement today also with reporters that they're playing with the running backs. A lot of folks unhappy with DeAngelo Williams getting 5 plays last week. And really, well, let's just start with the facts. He got on the field for 5 plays. He had 2 carries. Jonathan Stewart got a bulk of the work in the running back department. Cam Newton was still your leading rusher for Carolina. The whole idea behind the Panthers and their running backs, excuse me, the whole idea with the Panthers and their running backs was to have that two-headed monster. Well, on Friday, Rivera telling reporters that their plan now is to roll one running back out there, and if he gets hot, to ride that running back the rest of the game. Really? Does that not fly in the face of how these two were used when both ran for over 1,100 yards? The only running backs in NFL history to do so? This is starting to smack of a coaching staff that is starting to lose touch with what got them to where they were last year, what made them so successful. Look, I know that these coaches have forgotten more about football than I'll ever know, but from an outsider standpoint, when you've got 2 guys that are that capable, you've got to find ways to get both on the field and get both involved in the game plan. Riding one guy to see if he's got the hot hand and to see if he can carry you the whole way through, to me, I think that's a bit foolish, frankly. And I know that fans out there are going to start looking at the money that these guys are making. I don't even look at that. I don't care what a player's getting paid in a contract. It doesn't bother me in the least. He's being paid what the market bore or what the market would bear at the time that contract was signed. Period. But when you have those 2 guys and you have them at your disposal, you got to use them. And I'm hoping that Rivera's trying to throw a little misdirection at the Bears as they prepare for this game. That's my sincere hope. Because I think it's foolish. I really think it's foolish to have DeAngelo as a secondary guy when you can get him involved and get him out in space where he can make guys miss. Jonathan Stewart can run guys over. He doesn't need to be out in space to do that. He can find a seam, hit the hole, and then get going. To me, they're just 2 completely different running backs, and you've got to find ways to get them both involved. That's just me. I'm starting to wonder what the thinking is with this coaching staff. I really am. So that's my NFL little spiel for this weekend. I don't expect Carolina to win. It'd be a nice surprise if they did. Wake Forest got pretty well taken care of by Clemson on Thursday night national TV game. The Tigers are just that good. Wake is not a bad football team. Clemson is just that much better. Don't read anything more into that. Can Wake get 2 more victories at 4-4? Can they get 2 more wins to get to 6 and get to bowl eligibility? That is the underlying question right now. And do they have opportunities on the schedule? My guess is yes, but there's going to have to be one of those games I would think they're going to have to steal. That's just me. Can they do it? I'm going to try to call this up here quickly. I like what Wake has done this season. I really do. You know, they've had opportunities to get things done. I think the loss to Duke really hurt them. It kind of hurt them emotionally a little bit because that was a game they felt they could win. Wake plays Boston College next on Saturday. That's one that they can win, no question. And let me see if I can pull the rest of it up here. They've got BC next, and they're at NC State. That one will be a very tough game. Notre Dame will be a very, very tough game. And then they've got Vanderbilt at home the Saturday, the 24th of November. So it looks like if for Wake to get to 6, because they're at 4-4 right now, for them to get to 6, they've got to beat BC. And their most likely target would be Vanderbilt. But Vanderbilt is still pretty darn good. NC State's going to have to really fall asleep at the switch. It's a home game for the Wolfpack on November the 10th. So, I'm looking at Wake Forest really struggling to get to 6. And that'd be unfortunate. Jim Grobe and that staff, they really do a nice job. You look back at after the Duke game, which Wake Forest lost by 7, they lose to Maryland, and they also lose the game to Clemson, and they played basically 4 games without Michael Campanaro, their top receiver. So, if Camp's in the game, maybe they beat Maryland. They probably beat Maryland. That's my guess. And if Camp stays healthy against Duke, that was the game he got hurt in with a broken hand. There's a chance. I think they have a chance to win that one as well. So there's going to be they're going to look back and they're going to see some missed opportunities. They're also going to see that they were missing one of their biggest weapons. So anyway, let's move on from Wake. Hey, NHL. I love it. Let me refresh the whistle here. The National Hockey League. I love you. I love you guys. You're the best. You are the best ever. League is going to announce maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, that games through November 30th will be canceled because of their ongoing labor problem. And then on Monday, perhaps, the league will then announce that the Winter Classic and the All-Star Game will be canceled for this coming season. If they're going to make that announcement on Monday, they should just go ahead and kill the entire season. Let's forget about putting out hope that a season can be saved. Let's forget about all that stuff. Neither side is willing to make a deal that, there's little compromise here at this point. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again, this is all on the owners. This is all on Gary Bettman. I know Gary Bettman is the foot soldier for the owners. But I got to tell you, when you take 10 minutes to dismiss 3 different proposals that the Players Association may or may not have had for a long time, you take 10 minutes to just dismiss them, it means you don't want to negotiate. It means that you want your deal, period. And after the last lockout, which, by the way, this is 3 for Gary Bettman, shouldn't that be a red flag? Is it just me? If one commissioner oversees three lockouts for his league, should that not be a red flag? Am I the only one that gets this? I mean, it makes no sense. If your league shuts down because of work stoppages 3 times while you're the commissioner, there's one constant. You! Oh, it's mind-numbing. It really is. It really is. So they're going to say November out, and then they're going to expect to say the All-Star Game out, Winter Classic out, and you know what? If I'm a season ticket holder, which I'm not, if I were a season ticket holder for an NHL club, I would demand my money back. I would. I'd say, no, I don't want you to give me 2% interest on my ticket. I don't want you to give me, free parking passes for the remainder of the season. I don't want anything from you except my money back. Period. Because NHL fans, at some point, you have to take a stand. Period. You have to step up and say, you know what, I'm mad as heck and I'm not going to take this anymore. So guess what? You're not getting my dollars anymore. You're not getting my season ticket money. You're not getting my parking money. You're not getting my concessions money. You're not getting any of my money. You guys go figure it out. Because the NHL is going to have to learn the hard way. When no money is coming in, you have nothing. When you have no fans, you have nothing. That's the thing. These owners can sign all these contracts on all these players and put a good product on the ice, but if nobody goes out to watch that product, they're not making any money. They're not. All they have is their TV deal. Period. NHL fan, listen to me. This is your opportunity to speak out and strike back. When they start canceling games and you're a season ticket holder, get your money back. Get it all back. Don't get it back for a partial season. Don't get it back for, you're only getting back the games through November. No. Say, I want it all back. Give it all back to me because it's my cash and you're not providing me my product that I paid for. Period. And then see what the NHL does. And it's got to be around the league. It can't just be in Carolina, and it can't just be in Chicago, and it can't just be in Phoenix, and it can't just be in St. Louis. It's got to be all across the NHL. It's got to be across every NHL city. Period. That's the only way that these folks are going to hear you. And that's the only way these folks are going to realize, hey, we got to stop doing this because you know what? At some point, these fans are going to go away. I love the game of hockey. I don't care if I'm watching NHL hockey or if I'm watching the Charlotte Checkers play at Time Warner Cable Arena. I love watching the game. I'll watch the KHL on ESPN3 if I have to. But right now, the NHL is starting to lose me. And if the NHL is losing a guy like me who's been around the game all these years, what's it going to say about the casual fan that's out there who's fallen in love with the game, say, in the past couple of years because of watching the Olympics or watching the Winter Classic? What about the casual fan? The casual fan has nothing invested. When you lose a diehard, when you start to lose a diehard, somebody who's been with the league for all these years like I have, that's pretty bad. So, NHL, what are you going to do for me? Here's a suggestion. Get a new commissioner. Get a deal. Get a deal done. NHLPA, get a new union chief. Donald Fehr is not doing you any favors. He really isn't. This thing has to be blown up. Because the owners say it has to be blown up, fine. Blow it all the way up. Blow everything up. Take Phoenix. Disband Phoenix. It's the NHL's run team. Get rid of them. I'm sorry, Phoenix. I know you love your hockey team, and I would never call for contraction. But you know what? If that team can't be sold, if the NHL can't sell that team, then get rid of them. Boom. You save millions, hundreds of millions of dollars right there in player payroll alone. Boom. No need for a lockout. The rest of the league should not be made to suffer because the NHL can't get its own house in order. The NHL can't control its owners from overspending. I mean, why should fans in Chicago, my hometown, and a franchise that had success winning the Stanley Cup in 2010, their house is pretty much in order. Sure, I'm sure they'd like to rein in some costs here and there, but they've got a good revenue stream, a decent revenue stream anyway. Toronto hasn't put a winning product on the ice since 2002. When they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and got beat by Carolina. They make money hand over fist. So, show me where the problem is, NHL, because remember, the owners in the league wrote the last CBA. And in 7 years under that contract, revenues grew. And owners made more money. And now it's broken? Owners, get yourselves under control. Don't overspend on players like you have been for the past 7 years. Minnesota, you claimed you were broke. You signed 2 guys for $196 million. But you're broke. Okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. So NHL, get your house in order. And do it fast. Because one day a guy like me is going to decide, I don't need to watch you anymore.